Hi, my name is Marlon de Toit, professional wildlife photographer and safari guide. Topic that I kind of like talking about, and something of interest to many of you watching is it about the gear? Does the gear matter? What you have in your hand, does that become a factor out there? I've heard several professional wildlife photographers say that it doesn't matter. The gear that you have, it's all about the guy behind the camera. And, a good photographer can make bad gear work. And so therefore you shouldn't invest in, bad equipment. I mean, good equipment, because it doesn't matter. It's all about you and your skill and what you can achieve with the equipment you have in your hand. So I do agree with that in part. I often look at, I don't know who of you watches Formula One. I'm a big Formula One fan. And not to go too deep into that, but this year they've got brand new cars, brand new designs. The cars have potential. Not all are as fast, but you can take the best drivers in the world and put them in a car that they're uncomfortable with, or that's not as fast as, say, the next car. They will not perform to the best of their own ability, even though they have all the skill. They have the very best knowledge and experience and so forth. There's nothing they can do to make their car go faster. We're talking about, the smallest of margins. If you think of how fast these cars are. This year is a great example where teams who were incredibly strong over the last few years now struggle this year. The driver didn't get worse. He didn't deteriorate. He's not a worse off, driver all of a sudden forgetting what he had learned over all the years of winning championships. But, the car just isn't up to par. Whereas you're finding teams last year who were not doing that well have a better car this year, and now they're performing better. Photography, it's much the same. It's not fair to say that the camera gear doesn't matter, it's irrelevant, because it's all about the photographer. Much like you can't say that a bad photographer that doesn't have the skill or the ability can get great photos when you give him good gear. I don't know if you've heard the saying, all the gear and no idea. And it's very true, so there's got to be a balance. And, I'm often asked about equipment and new equipment, and I'm curious, I love where technology has gone with mirrorless equipment, how much of a possibilities it's opened up. It's still, you can't, as a photographer that doesn't invest in your craft, you don't educate yourself, you don't get better, you don't spend time in the field. If you pick up a brand new camera body and lens and that's state of the art, you're not going to be able to take that to its limit. Much like a bad Formula One driver cannot take the car to the limit. But what's beautiful is when you marry the two, when you get somebody who's truly passionate, truly invested in their craft, you give an extremely good photographer the best gear, the result, amazing, okay? But also on the same breath, I wouldn't say, I always tell guests, what is your budget? It's the first thing that I ask when you're looking for new gear. What is your budget? What can you afford? Because just because you're starting out, if you love nature, you're traveling on safari out there for like 60 days a year, and you just love photography and you've got a passion for it, buy the best gear. If you can afford it, go out and buy a 400 f2.8, a 600 f4, Sony Alpha 1. Go get it, because it's just going to be that much more enjoyable for you. You're going to love the adventure and the experience, It will elevate your photography by that much more. Don't expect the gear to make you a better photographer, because that's not going to happen. That's not what I'm saying. But if you marry the two, I promise you're going to see a result. You enjoy it and you can afford it, and it's great. So if you can, get it. Go invest in the best gear. It's just going to make it so much more fun. You're going to love the content you're getting. Still, it's don't expect it to make you a better photographer. But when eventually you get up to the skill, and when you start to take the photographs that you kind of dream of, then yes, it makes a difference. Gear and photographer together, beautiful. It's where the creative vision of the photographer can be executed to an extent that they have in their mind, because they are equipped with the equipment and the gear to do so. So that's my thoughts. Gear matters, but so does the photographer. I mean, it's a pretty obvious answer, so I don't know why it's such a big topic, but I thought I'd just talk about it. I love hearing from you guys, and so share in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on it. It went longer. My coffee is definitely cold. I know that for sure. But I hope it was helpful and insightful. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comment or send me a DM. Loved speaking with you guys. For now, bye-bye.